it's Abby J here, your life coach, and I have a question for you. Have you ever thought about developing a personal brand? Do you know what a personal brand is? Well, if you don't, you are not alone, and I really didn't start thinking about this till I was in high school, and I read a book called How to Develop a Personal Brand. And just like companies like Nike and Apple and Disney, where we start to associate memories and feelings and characteristics to these brands, well, you can do the exact same thing with your personality and how people perceive you. So today on my life hack videos, I wanted to share with you the tips of developing your own personal brand, because this is something that we are doing every day, whether we know it or not. So we might as well take the time to develop a brand that we want to be associated with. And here are the steps to do exactly that. The first step is to find a brand that you admire. Now, this might seem a little overwhelming, but just stop, take a moment, and look at people that you love, that you respect, that you want to be more like. Because yes, while it's hard to define, my overarching, what is the brand of my personality, you can start by pulling a couple traits that you like about other people. Do you want to be seen as a upcoming professional who's really sharp and pulled together? Well, that's a certain type of brand. Do you want to be seen as very loving and charismatic and you are always there to help other people? Well, that's a different type of brand. And so start to look at people you admire from history, from your family, and from just friends and coworkers that you know and love, and start to write down some of the traits that you would like to have associated with your personal brand. The second tip is to now break apart actions from those traits. Now that sounds a little complex, it's not, but you start to look at something like, going back to my example of you want to be seen as this young upcoming professional who knows it all and that you are the person to go to for the job. That's the brand you want to start to develop. Well, so what does it mean to be sharp? And start writing down what you think that means. Well, if I'm sharp, I'm always on time to things. I, dress the part. I dress really nice. And you start to dissect, well, what does that look like? If you want to be somebody that's seen as very caring and warm, well, you might see that as I'm always there for people. When somebody needs me, I'm there. I write lots of thank you notes. I call people. You start to break apart what that means for you. Now, a good way to do this is to look at what people have done for you that you perceive as really put together, or that you perceive as somebody who has a brand that you want to be like. What are they doing that makes you think they are that brand and that aura? My third tip for you is to commit to 3 brand development ideas, or activities, you might call them. And what are these brand activities, these ideas? Well, that is committing to those actions that you have identified as part of that brand. So you want to be really professional, right? And you want to be this upcoming future CEO, that's your brand. Well, you are going to commit to maybe dressing above what your work status says. So wearing really nice clothes to work, and you'll commit to being on time to meetings, and maybe you commit to always writing thank you notes to people in person, because that's a really impactful way to start building that brand. And you're going to want to start practicing these things and committing to 3 at a time, because you don't want to be overwhelmed. And it really helps with step number 4, which is to commit to the long term. Now, yes, you might identify what you want your brand to be. You might have some action steps that you're going to follow through for. But if you aren't committed to the end goal of your brand, it's just going to fizzle out. So you have to make the commitment that, I'm not going to get discouraged when I don't see progress right away, or I'm not instantly associated with this personality that I want to be. It takes time. It takes you doing these things consistently, because that's what a brand is. It isn't a one-time occurrence that happened and you just happen to be on time to this meeting and happen to look like $1 million. You always are. And so that's something that is really key to developing a brand, is sticking to, I'm committed to this and this is part of who I am. And like I said in the first of this video, we all have a personal brand. Whether you know it or not, or whether you've been aware of it, people have a brand associated to you. And what is yours? What do you think it is? What do you want it to be? And so I hope that these 4 steps have really helped you out, because I think that being a person that's really aware of what you're putting out there is huge when it comes to your success. Because if you aren't in control of like what you're putting out there, you aren't in control of what's coming back to you. So there you have it. Those are my top tips for you. Be sure to leave a comment below on maybe one of these tips you liked or a brand that you are trying to achieve for yourself. And of course, please subscribe to my channel and give this a nice thumbs up. And let me know if you want more videos like this in the future. So thank you again for watching. I will see you in the next video. Abby J out.